The Labour Party is in trouble, and I wanted to look at what's been in the news recently because they don't really have any defence against the rhetoric of the right other than just trying to agree to it and saying, oh no, this is what we were saying all along. But the thing is, what they say and their actions are very different. And of course, what you can learn about Britain and what it takes to put up all those flags, the strength of all of that is contained within One Islander magazine. You can get it now, $14.99. It's a great investment because, as Harry was pointing out, people are selling them on extortionate prices. Well, get it while it's cheap, while it's affordable. We keep the price low so you can all get it.
Yeah, it's like an Elder Scrolls skill book. You open it and you get +5 strength immediately.
That is true, yeah.
The Patriots can confirm.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, the flags are still going up. Here's one that I saw last night. I think this is from York, where they're still putting up the flags. And of course, this is quite an effective campaign because it's our national flag. And if one side claims it, it sort of suggests that the other side are traitors, which I would definitely never suggest that. Oh, wait, I would actually. And what they've done to try and contain this message, because obviously it's quite a powerful one, that the flag of your nation is a symbol of rebellion. Well, Keir Starmer has said he hangs the English flag in his home and always sits in front of a Union Jack. And he says... this is what he told the BBC. I'm very encouraging of flags. I think they're patriotic and a great symbol of our nation. So what they're trying to do here, I think, because I don't think that Keir Starmer is like the biggest patriot in Britain as he's making out. I think what he's trying to do is absorb the message because then it stops it being this message of rebellion against his government, which is how it's intended by pretty much everyone who's putting it up, right? Do you all broadly agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then... there was another instance of this where Keir Starmer said, I'm proud of our flag as a patriotic symbol of our nation. Like lots of people, I've proudly got one up at home. I don't know why the TV keeps on going dark. I've got a flag up at the minute as well. I don't normally fly the flag, normally because I don't have a garden or anywhere to do it, but I've just got it in my window at the minute. Based. But this last line is, using our flag to divide devalues it.
The flag's kind of specific, though.
It is, yeah. It's sort of what a flag is it divides people between the territory where they're from and the people outside of it, doesn't it?
It's who we are, what values, what values, it's not, the English flag doesn't represent a value, it represents the people of England, our nation, and the fact they're trying to co-opt it, I think it's disgusting.
Again, there's nothing wrong with, having, different nations, different people flying
it's
different
fine.
flags. That's sort of like the point of nationalism, is that everybody gets to be proud of who they are, where they've come from, their heritage. You get to fly, I get to fly my Union Jack, you get to fly your Star Spangled Banner or your Jamaican flag or your Japanese flag or wherever, and you all get to be proud of who you are.
Exactly, and there's no division. It's not there to divide people. It's just English people being proud of who we are, being proud of where we come from, our history, our culture and our achievements. And it's not about hating anyone else or trying to divide, as Keir Starmer, or devalue it, as Keir would suggest.
One only needs to look at the sort of nationalist right and how much we're all supporting each other in Europe to see that actually it's not about, I only care about my country and nowhere else. Because actually, I think the politics as it is, there's a lot of camaraderie, particularly amongst people on the right, all across 100%. The world. And I think, if anything, our nationalism and flying the flag is bringing more people together, even outside of our borders, ironically enough.
I think I saw a fantastic action in Vienna the other day. So some of the nationalists over there actually raised the colours in solidarity with us. I can't remember the district where, but they put some bunting across. It looked fantastic. It's excellent to see other Europeans celebrating their nationality and ethnicity.
Mm-hmm. And then... this is something that I really had to doubt. I'm not going to play it because I don't like hearing her voice. But Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary...
But you still show us her face.
Turn you to
cover your eyes.
Cover your eyes. Turn away, Marion. Turn away.
Pretend you've been pepper sprayed again, perhaps. It's probably preferable.
Opening the Lost Ark.
But
that's what they saw.
She says she has Union Jack bunting, St. George's flags, St. George's bunting, and a Union Jack flag and tablecloths at home.
Rubbish.
Doubt.
I mean,
so
I'm sorry.
Doubt.
No, you don't.
Not a single
I bet she
person
couldn't even
in
draw
Britain
it.
has all of that. There might be one crazy person whose entire house is themed like that, But other than that, it's over-egging it. Now we just don't believe you because you've tried too hard to make out that you're this patriotic.
I think what's possible is that basically she has all of these like in her attic somewhere and like use them for like when there was like the Queen's Jubilee or whatever a few years ago, and had the bunting for that, and just like they got like flags, tablecloths. Maybe they had a street party then, and then you just whacked it up in the attic after using it for then.
Exactly. Still counts. Yeah.
Like, why would you? Like, I'm extremely patriotic. I got flags in my room, and when I was on like a Times Radio the other day, I had it in the background. Some of my friends were like calling me like Chudfield, like going on as like sensible, independent journalist with a bunch of like St George's Cross, Union Jack in the background, and it's like I'm patriotic. I like that's like even overboard for me, you know?
Yeah.
So it just makes me think that they're not being truthful about it. And speaking of not being truthful, here's Keir Starmer saying, I completely get it, where he insists he wants to empty the asylum hotels faster. But of course...
Then why did the judiciary... Why did your Home Office appeal against the Epping decision then?
Yeah.
Also,
we've got to be sensible with it, you see.
They're going to try and do something worse in that they're going to try and circulate them in the population in houses, so depriving people of houses and also distributing them, so they've got like an equal distribution of potential sex criminals
Everyone
all
gets
across
their
the
fair
country.
share, you know.
Yeah.
And
And
they were just in one area. Now you might have one next door to you, like literally next door to you.
Yeah, exactly.
so, yeah, it's very difficult to believe this sort of thing. And then here he is again. So Keir Starmer promises small boat migrants will be detained and sent back. Oh, this is, obviously not true. This was only a few days ago as well.
They've sent back 24,000 in the past year, according to official figures from the end of July, which is not good enough.
There's still a massive backlog, isn't there, of people,
Huge.
right?
Yeah, wasn't it within a few months they were trying to say, oh, we've already sent 10,000 back?
Bollocks.
Well, I mean, at the pace that you're going then, you've slowed down a hell of a lot since then.
And here we are. Keir Starmer admits he would not want to live next to an asylum hotel as his desperate phase 2... Well, okay, that's what the Daily Mail's saying. But him just admitting, I don't want to live next to an asylum hotel. Well, hang on a minute. When he was a sort of judicial activist, like a lawyer for hire, didn't he do lots of free work for people like that, right?
And terrorist
did.
organisations.
Yeah, exactly. So I find
Of
it
course,
very
they
hard to
came
believe.
to him. He didn't choose these cases. They just
Oh.
landed on his desk.
And he's just a normal taxi lawyer. He's got the cab ranking.
Yeah.
Just can't refuse them. I guess I'm going to support this terrorist. Guess I'm going to support this murderer. Whoops. Oh, I just have to.
I can't say I know enough, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me.
And while all of this is going on, while they're trying to convince people, they're trying to sort of outflank the patriots, just like, yes, I hate the asylum hotels. I don't want them. They need to go. I fly the flag. I've got like thousands of flags at home. His government's actually doing this. This is, of course, Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, announcing in Parliament plans to expedite refugees and Gazan student visas to study in the UK. Of course, being a student is a way of getting a foothold in the country, makes it easier to become a citizen, makes it easier for them to bring their family over. They've also announced new plans to let refugees work in Britain. So this is the opposite of what they should be doing, obviously. Not that I need to say this.
How many people could come through and from where on such a scheme? Because I was reading earlier about random people from Nigeria who managed to get through into England using the Ukrainian scheme.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like, what? Why? How? Why are they still here? Why were they allowed
Second
to
only
use
to
this?
the Indians in their scamming
And
ability.
of course, let's not forget that the Gazans in the Middle East are some of the most frightful terrorists or terror supporters you've ever heard of across the world. But the second they step onto that magic soil, they're a poor, oppressed minority who deserve gibs, just like the rest of them.
But the working thing, I think, is particularly egregious, of course, because this has been going on behind closed doors anyway. Like Deliveroo, Just Eat, you see migrants on bicycles all the time going through city centres. You hardly see them off of them, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think they literally had like a last month or so, and I think at the end of July or so, there was a crackdown at the Thistle City Hotel in the Barbican where a bunch of police officers turned up and grabbed like 8 or 10 migrants and basically like on like Deliveroo bikes, the asylum seekers. And then I think maybe like a couple were arrested, but like I don't think like anything. I think they were fined, and like nothing happened. And they did this once in this one hotel, and they're like, "Wow, look at that! Yeah,
Actually
fantastic propaganda. Wow, we're doing action. We're doing action right now, folks. And then it just carries on. I literally was there like a few days after that happened, and I saw a delivery bike just right across from the hotel. And I'm like, okay, so you've stopped literally nothing. You're just doing a little bit of propaganda, and that's it. And also the same with the working. Like, I don't think people are primarily not annoyed with like the money that's being spent on the asylum hotels. Like, yes, it's bad. Obviously, there's so much money that is being wasted, for the taxpayers here. But they're primarily concerned they're gonna go and like nonce your kids. Giving them a job isn't gonna stop them from doing this.
It's going to give them more money to get extras while they do this.
Yeah.
And it's also an incentive for them to be here in the first place. At least, if they're locked up in a hotel and can't work, they're contained a little bit more. If they're out on a bicycle, who knows what they can get up to. And in fact, do you remember, Harry, when I took a picture of that migrant hotel in Swindon, and it had a Just Eat bag, and I tagged them in it and just like, isn't it illegal? And then Just Eat liked one of the replies calling me racist.
Bruh.
I didn't remember that the Just Eat did that.
Got the screenshots.
I remember there were about 11 bicycles chained up on the lamppost out there, and so Callum did a quick look into how many stolen bicycles had been reported in the past few weeks before then, and it was 11 bicycles.
What a funny coincidence.
It really activates my almonds. That really
makes you think.
jogs the noggin. Yeah.
Yeah, my frontal lobe is
Expanding.
And of course...
Me when I think. Me when I realise.
Starmer's so concerned with these sorts of things that he's willing to enact something that Tony Blair's been trying to do for 20 years, which is a funny coincidence, isn't it? He's just mysteriously come across this idea and says that, digital ID, that's the way we do it. That's the way we send them all back. Obviously not. This is...
that thing I've been working towards my entire career is finally the solution to a problem that I kind of started.
But the thing is, because everyone expects them to be dishonest about their motivations, I don't think anyone believes that they're doing this to crack down on the small boats. Because why was Tony Blair pushing for this then?
Tony Blair is an honest and honourable man, Josh.
Oh, compared to Keir Starmer, he genuinely is.
Put some respect on his name.
I at least have some respect for Tony Blair because he's so evil that I sort of am just like, I
wrap back around to respect.
Yeah.
You're just like, I wish I could be that evil.
At least I know what he stands for, being Satan. But what does Keir Starmer stand for?
So another thing is this, and this annoyed me a lot because it's just like two singers and some women from abroad say that it's racist to link immigration to sexual abuse. It's like, thank you, musicians and women who definitely have no invested interest.
The Council of the Longhouse of to tell you off. Stop linking immigration to sexual abuse. No,
it's silly.
Who are the men that pick for scraps amongst the ruins at the end of history? You should know, because you encounter them every day. Between the towering buildings of a fallen empire, we find the Fellaheen, the historyless men, who know nothing of the turning of the cosmic wheel and find themselves outside of civilization itself. Cut loose from the great chain of being, they represent the loam into which our dying culture will return. That is, unless we choose to take up the burden once again. This Fellaheen condition is the subject we explore in issue 4 of Islander magazine, on sale while stocks last and available worldwide at shop.lotusseaters.com.
And of course, this letter comes from Stand Up to Racism, which is about as organic as McDonald's. And let's scroll down and read some of this because it's quite egregious. And the part I found the most annoying is there is no evidence that people seeking refuge are more likely to commit acts of sexual violence.
Have you got the graph, Josh?
Oh, I'll get to it.
Oh, yeah.
I've always got the graph. Many are themselves survivors of violence, war and persecution. And there's also the fact that if people live in that environment, they're probably likely to bring that along, even if that is true in the first place.
Yeah, what we want to do is start bringing along traumatized war survivors or potentially war criminals and bring them into our country, and there'll be nothing wrong.
The magic soil will just take root and they'll be cured. Where was I? Blaming them distracts from tackling the deep-rooted causes of abuse and from holding those truly responsible to account. The far right have seized on the lies, spread misinformation, and mobilised protests outside hotels housing refugees, including women and children. do they? Are there women and children in Epping? I don't think there are.
No.
There's not.
No.
It's all men.
There's none in the Britannia. I think there was some in the Stanwell Hotel, but that was because it was being moved to all men. There's a lot of hotels across London which are being moved from women and children to just men. I'm trying to think if there's actually a place, one of the coverages that I've been, where it has been women and children. I think only like when I went out to cover some of the flagging that happened in Orpington with the guys went down with them from Canary Wharf, the Flag Force, at Flag Force 25 on X. People want to follow them. And I think the hotel in Orpington had women and kids in it. And I think that was literally the only one, and that wasn't even a protest. We just like they just went out flagging.
Even then, you got to consider it's not going to be an even split, is it? You might have 70 men and like 2 couples. You know,
Yeah.
it just because it says it's housing women and children doesn't mean the people in there are actually women and
Good
children.
point. Yeah.
Because the Home Office is so they're not transparent about this at all. They won't even comment about on individual cases whether something is or is not an asylum hotel. If you hear that they're being moved towards it, they just say no, I can't. We don't comment on this specifically. So they're not being transparent at all. Transparency again. This is another reason why they don't trust the government. Look, you had no transparency in the Scottish hatchet girl case. There's no transparency in where the hotels are or where they're putting them in their houses, multiple occupation. People don't know where they are, and actually, and I do think said just on that point, that Lorraine from the Pink Ladies said that actually, they want to start putting curfews in the hotels, especially now that school's back, so that like from 9 till 4 or whatever, they have to stay inside, so they basically can't like nonce on any of the girls who are around school, and like actually. It's going to be worse, surely, if they're going to be dispersed around the community, because at the very least, you can avoid the hotel in your community and the surrounding area, at the least. If they're just spread out,
What can you do?
What can you do?
Yeah,
they could be literally anywhere.
For most people who experience this coming into your neighbourhoods, and I'm sure this is what it was like for you in Epping, no announcement, no warning, they just one day... boom, there they are.
It was a bit of a shock because obviously said they don't tell you they're coming, and I'd leave my house and I'd get my road and she'd be like, oh, there's a load of men here, like where have you all come from?
There's a load of men. What are they doing?
It's not like they blend in, They like literally fresh off the boat. They wear sandals. They wear sandals and jogging bottoms. I'm like, mate, it's like you're in England now. Can you get some shoes on, please? And
Well, said actually, it's not because we didn't mention this earlier. I thought we should actually mention it. It's obviously it's not only the men who are in the hotels who are immigrants. It's the security guards as well. And you found,
as we discovered,
So you found a guy on
They're
Snapchat.
guarding themselves, right?
He was, I think he looks vaguely sort of Indian, Pakistani, Afghani, kind of that region of the world.
Judging from the flags on his profile, and you open up his profile. And it's him in all these sport cars with AK-47s, a big piles of money. And it's like, I'm glad to know the Bell Hotel's in safe hands at least.
And he went to uni in London. I think it was like Uni of Greenwich or somewhere around that way. Worked security other places. I saw like a Deutsche Bank logo on his things. Clearly be guarding the walls. And another, and I believe it was another Asylum hotel as well, where he was at, and somewhere in the grounds where he had like the Snapchat or Instagram from that. So you're going to these are your security guards. These are who's holding them in as well,
And it what does that tell us in the local community? It's like, a guy who was, let's be honest, probably up to no good in Pakistan. He's rocking around with guns and big wads of money. He's meant to be keeping the asylum seekers in check,
keeping the women and girls of Epping safe.
Maybe they're hoping that if he's already got lots of money, he won't be as susceptible to bribes.
So true.
So it makes sense.
Thank you, Yvette Cooper. Very cool.
The final paragraph I wanted to read was this one. The truth is that sexual violence is endemic across society and far too often ignored by those in power. The irony of them writing this letter, complaining about people ignoring it in power. Public services for women, children and victims and survivors have been cut to the bone, and too many cases are left without justice. Or it could be that it's not that it's cuts to services. Maybe it's that those cases have gone up because something else has gone up. What is that? What has seen a skyrocket? Is it immigration? It could be. I think
not quite sure. I can't put my finger on it.
The numbers on that?
Here's
the numbers.
That's a graph.
So here are foreign nationals, and these are sexual assaults by nationality. That's the United Kingdom there at the very bottom. And these are all the nations above them, right? So yes, remember, actually it's the majority of sexual assault cases are white people, it's British people, but of course those people don't understand per capita because they've got a small brain. Here we are, Afghanistan right at the top. Is that Eritrea? It's so small on the screen.
Our bicycle engineers.
Yeah.
Our promised bicycle
It's
engineers.
Afghanistan and Eritrea who are number 1 and number 2, and I think
Namibia,
this will be
Chad.
this will be
and this
by
is-
conviction as well, won't it? I think those are the numbers where it's Afghanistan and Eritrea are 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is per 10,000 people.
I mean, the difference is
That's ridiculous.
massive there, isn't it, right?
I think Afghanistanis are I think it's 22 times more likely to be convicted for sexual assault than British nationals. And of course, this is only by nationality. So if somebody is second, third generation immigrant here as well, they'll be counted under the British national statistics. So we don't record for ethnicity in the same way. But basically the stats are pretty similar. If you look at Denmark, which does record for ethnic background as well.
Yeah. So judging by this, for Afghans and Eritreans, maybe like if you're in a particular neighborhood where there's a lot of them, what does that equal out to? About maybe slightly more than 1 in 200 is potentially somebody who's committed.
I think it's like
sexual
56
assault.
out of 1,000 for the Afghanistans. Yeah.
Well, it's 56 out of 10,000. So I'm just trying to.
Right. Yeah.
Actually 59.
I
out
think
of 10,000.
out
Yeah,
of the Scottish,
10,000.
I think out of the Scottish data, it was either Somalis or Eritreans. I can't remember because it's off the top of my head. But a quarter of them in Scotland were in prison at that
Oh
time.
my god!
Jesus.
I definitely heard that as well. It's again because it's a very small population, but that's still 25% of them total. It's like the stats with Rotherham. I can't remember the numbers, but it's something insane. Like it was something like 1 in 7 or like 1 in. It was either like 1 in 7 or 1 in 50. I think 1 in 7 maybe tangentially evolved, and like 1 in 50 like Muslim males in Rotherham were like actually convicted for the grooming gangs.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely massive.
I imagine the 1 in 7 is just on accounting for just the entire community hiding it.
Yeah.
But then again, if you want to take it as the entire community, well, then it's all of them.
Yeah.
So the point I want to make here really is that obviously they're very overrepresented, and here's I'm rather immodestly going to quote my own tweet here.
Oh, well, why not?
I know.
Classic.
It was one that I
How
did
is
myself.
this logistically possible?
Oh yeah, that was Tariq Nasheed replying to me. He didn't understand the logistics, but the point being is that certain populations that are a minority of the population can commit very large numbers of crime, and the type of crime depends on who they are, what their culture is, and it's very obvious that this is going on, right? This is the government's data that I based this off of. It was, london.gov.uk, and also I think Scotland Yard as well.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was the Met Police. So these are about as official as you could possibly get, and you get these sorts of figures. So obviously the people saying, oh, well, they're just misrepresenting these poor innocent migrants. They're just here to work. Well, obviously not. We've got the crime data. We know that that's not true. And so to sort of summarize, obviously the flag thing, they're trying to contain it because it's a powerful message. I don't think they go home and it's just a wall of union flags and what have you. Obviously they're trying to say that they're going to do something about immigration. They're obviously not going to. And in fact, they're making it worse. And of course, people saying that they're just blaming migrants, that's not true either, because obviously there's a massive overrepresentation there, and it's undeniable. And the final thing I wanted to mention is I do have a YouTube channel. I have lots of videos that are not about politics, so if you want to escape from the misery and find out how cats can control your mind, for example.
How you
Pretty
can survive with half a brain.
Yeah, that's true. That's very
Josh has
topical.
mastered that one.
I would ask.
What was that, Harry?
I would ask how cats can control your mind, but I'm going to watch your video instead.
Thank you
This is
very
about
much.
top
Watch the
social
channel,
media.
subscribe.
Yeah.
It's only just started somewhat, so if you support it, I very much appreciate it. But no, that's it. Thank you very much.
Who are the men that pig for scraps amongst the ruins at the end of history? You should know, because you encounter them every day. Between the towering buildings of a fallen empire, we find the Fellaheen, the historyless men, who know nothing of the turning of the cosmic wheel and find themselves outside of civilization itself. Cut loose from the great chain of being, they represent the loam into which our dying culture will return. That is, unless we choose to take up the burden once again. This fellahin condition is the subject we explore in issue 4 of Islander magazine, on sale while stocks last and available worldwide at shop.lotuseaters.com.